Good morning, everyone. Today's main lecture topic is India-UAE relationship. So basically, India-UAE diplomatic relations started in 1972. From 1972 to 2015, it was not so better as we have with other nations. But in 2015, when our Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited UAE at the very first time as a guest, then the diplomatic relations between India and UAE became so strong, and within 2 years, in 2017, we invited the Crown Prince of UAE as the chief guest on our Republic Day, 26th of January. It was the time when we felt that India and UAE relationship would go far away, and within 2 years again, Narendra Modi visited UAE in 2019, and that was the time when Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Crown Prince of UAE together launched the Indian rupee system in UAE, and UAE became the first country in Middle East to launch the rupee system in its own country. And that was the same year when Indian Prime Minister was awarded with the highest civilian award of UAE, named Order of Jayed. And again, within 2 years, in 2021, we exported our co-vaccines in the COVID time to UAE, and it was the milestone for the relationship of India and UAE. And in 2022, when Crown Prince of UAE visited India, that was the time when both the leaders signed on a pact, that is CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, and that is a free trade agreement. Now we would consider why UAE is so important for India. There are so aspects on which we have to consider in terms of trade, in terms of foreign investment, in terms of remittances. UAE is so important for us. The first reason is that in 2022, recently, the real estate company of UAE, that is MR Group, has invested a lot of money in Jammu and Kashmir. It had purchased the 5 lakh square feet land for a good uh, mall, for a better mall. It is not the consideration of just rupees. It is the consideration that Pakistan always talks about Kashmir, and it wants to uh, make a bad image for India at the issue of Kashmir. But when UAE is investing money in Jammu and Kashmir, it becomes so important for India. And second thing is that India and UAE has signed a CEPA, as I have told you, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, and both the nations have aimed to achieve the $100 billion trade in within 5 years, and 15 billion service trade within next 5 years. And again, the remittances, we have got the $38 billion remittances from UAE only, and our 35% of the UAE population is Indian. Those are the aspects on which we have to consider that why UAE is so important for India. Thank you.